Hello Seekers, welcome to Punneit's Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. Jupiter, the Guru, the planet of wisdom, the planet of wealth and prosperity, the planet that controls Dharma, is about to go retrograde on 21st of June this year in the sign of Aquarius. Jupiter will continue its retrogression in the sign of Aquarius and Capricorn till mid of October, and from September 14th onwards, Jupiter will enter Capricorn while retrograding, and it will remain retrograde till mid of October, beyond which Jupiter will again become direct, travel a certain distance, cross Capricorn, and finally come to Aquarius towards last week of November. Jupiter is definitely a natural benefic, and being a natural benefic, Jupiter becomes more powerful when it goes retrograde. The benefic nature of Jupiter increases, and it blesses us with its wisdom and helps us regain our strength, and through wisdom and knowledge we become prosperous. The Lakshmi comes to our home, and we are blessed to have a retrograde Jupiter in the time of crisis that we have right now. Aquarius is definitely a zodiac sign of connection, and Jupiter's retrograde in the sign of Aquarius definitely means that the network connection of the Sattvic network connection, I must say, will increase many times, and you might lose tamasic friends, you might lose few connections that are not so good for you. But on the other hand, you will get more connected to the divinity, you will get more connected to the optimism and positivity. The retrograde Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius is definitely a benefic planet, and its aspect on the sign of Libra and Gemini will definitely strike balance, and the way you communicate will also come and will also get sharpened, and it will have the wisdom. The words that you will say will have the wisdom. So overall, this Jupiter retrogression seems to be quite positive and a hopeful transit for all ascendants. But definitely I'm going to talk about every ascendant, but before that, do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share, and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. Do not forget to follow me on social media platforms for quick Astro Bites, reels and interesting short videos. I have another channel, Lifetime Soul, the link of which is in the description box below. That channel is a newly created channel for moon transit videos, short videos and holistic guidance on different aspects of life, including mudras, and some very interesting videos are planned. Do subscribe that channel too. If you want to take my consultation, you can drop me an email. The email ID is in the description box below. So let's begin with Jupiter retrograde analysis for all ascendants. I also get a lot of questions on how to watch the video, how to understand which part you should take a look into. Say for example, you have Aries ascendant but Taurus moon sign. Then you watch the Aries part of the video for your ascendant based analysis, and then go to the Taurus part of video. Completely take the entire analysis on a psychological level, because moon transits affects our mind. So when you're watching the Taurus part, when you're watching the part that is your moon sign, take the analysis as psychological, whereas if you want to take the complete holistic analysis, then watch it by ascendant. So for all of you, there will be two such parts in the video which are applicable. One for ascendant and one for the moon sign. Ascendant for true results or overall analysis, moon sign for psychological analysis, because my analysis will be mostly at a zodiac level. So let's begin with Jupiter analysis for every zodiac sign, and this is the analysis for Jupiter in Aquarius only. Another video will come soon where I'm going to explain about the Jupiter's retrogression back in Capricorn. Aries zodiac sign. For Aries zodiac, Jupiter will make its move in the 11th house. Jupiter for Aries ascendant and Aries moon sign rules 9th house and 12th house. So Jupiter is definitely your Dharma Karaka. Now, if this Jupiter is retrograde in the 11th house, definitely it is getting retrograde towards the karmic house of Capricorn. It will alter your destiny and it is going to fulfill your expectations by refining them, redefining the source of expectations. You will lose few friends and you will gain some really good friends, and lifelong friendship is on the cards. 12th house is also the house of expenses, losses, donations. 12th lord is 12th from itself. So that's the bhavam position for Jupiter in Aquarius. So definitely Jupiter will do something auspicious that will control your expenses. Unnecessary losses will be prevented at this time frame. And financially this is going to be a transformation. Because 11th house is the house of source of income. It's called Labhasthan, the house of gains and fortunes. So definitely Jupiter retrograde in this house is going to be a blessing. But this is also going to refine the way you think about your source of income. Good time for a career change. Good time to rethink about your plans and revisiting your plans on your career. Good time to create a new source of income. And this is also a good time to balance your finances. But remember, in order to balance your finances, you will have to save money and invest into instruments which are safer to invest. Don't risk your money, don't risk your funds. Otherwise, once Jupiter becomes debilitated in Capricorn, it might create some sort of trouble. It might create some sort of monetary crunch. Now, definitely when 9th lord goes in the 11th house, it means association with religious people, spiritual minded people, like-minded people. It is also good for religious pilgrimages and trying to learn something new. This kind of retrogression is helpful for those people who want to upgrade their knowledge, especially they want to go for higher education. Definitely, you are also facing a retrograde Saturn in the 10th house. So when 10th and 11th has two retrogrades, expect a call from your previous company. Expect something that you are redoing it once again. Expect to roll back your plans to the previous state. So it's best that before anything happens, revisit the previous plan, revisit what you are doing, just have a revision, because that will ensure that there are no errors in the future. Jupiter 5th aspect falls on the 3rd house. So when Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on the 3rd house, definitely it means that your brothers and siblings are going to get benefit from you. You are going to make them learn something good things. You are going to become a role model for a lot of people. You are going to become an example. Try to become a positive example rather than a negative example. Because Jupiter's aspect falls on the sign of Gemini, this also helps expansion in your life, and this is also going to give you the necessary guidance. It will teach you how to approach towards your expectations, new set of expectations. Jupiter's 7th aspect on the 5th house, which is the sign of Leo, is going to tell you that working with people is okay, but sometimes you have to also think about your own productivity. Sometimes you have to be a bit selfish. Sometimes you have to think about yourself and your existence and your identity, what's good for you and what's bad for you. That is something that this Jupiter will teach you, and Jupiter will want you to learn. 5th house is also the house of children, so retrograde Jupiter in 11th house will also provide some relief from the perspective of children. If you are tensed or if you are in some sort of trouble with respect to your children, or if you are trying for a child and you are unable to, then this retrograde Jupiter might just give the necessary push and will bless you with a positive karma. Jupiter's 9th aspect falls on the 7th house, so this actually resolves a lot of problems in marriage, business, anything that is associated with partnership. This also resolves legal issues in your life. So overall, for Aries ascendant, Jupiter's retrogression in 11th house is going to be a power-packed positive transit, and you should make the best use of it. Only thing is that you have to use the power of Saturn to execute the power of Jupiter, because Jupiter is ultimately in the house of Shani, and Shani himself is retrograde. So this is a case of double retrogression, where a retrograde planet sits in a particular house whose lord is also retrograde. That means definitely there is going to be a lot of grinding and churning, and a lot of karma has to be done in order to get the results. But once you do the Samudra Manthan, once you participate in the churning process, the amount of positivity that you will get is really, really infinite. So for you, I will say it's a total thumbs up. Just make the best use of it. Zodiac number 2, Taurus zodiac. For Taurus ascendant, if you see, Sagittarius is the 8th house and Pisces is the 11th house. So 8th lord goes into 10th house, 11th lord goes into 10th house and Jupiter goes retro. So definitely this is a reshuffling in your career. This may be a case where you're going back to your previous role. This is a change of livelihood, change of environment in your office, change of supervisor. Maybe the branch that you are working, that means the designation or the domain in which you are working, completely changes, for which you have to learn. Say for example, in IT industry, someone is working in one technology and he is given an opportunity in a different technology, but to do that, that person has to learn. That is creation of new identity because Rahu is on your ascendant. Next, Saturn is retrograde in the 9th house. When Saturn goes retrograde, the dispositor of Jupiter is also retrograde. So your karma will be to follow dharma and revise your approach towards karma and dharma, revisit your approach towards how you treat your career. Maybe you are frustrated, maybe you don't want to work in the current environment, but is it right to quit? Do you have enough support? Are you sure that it is going to work? All these questions will be answered by a retrograde Jupiter. This retrograde Jupiter is going to take you out of the comfort zone, but place you in a better position. So when you are feeling that, when you are having this thought process of changing your career or changing the domain or changing the technology, having a new source of income, creating a new livelihood, or you are worried about your status in society, if you're not getting appreciated, these questions should be carefully thought. These questions should be given enough amount of chintan. When enough amount of thought process goes through this, you analyze all these things, the pros and cons, and if it falls in the justification, then you can definitely take that call. Provided your Mahadasha and Antardasha supports it, you will become successful. Jupiter is definitely 8th lord. So when it is 8th lord and Jupiter's focus is towards 9th house, then you should visit temples. Life may change on a positive note by visiting temples. 8th house is called Gupta Vidya, transformation. 9th house is temples. So if you see, 10th house Jupiter focuses on the 9th house and 9th house retrograde Saturn has a motion towards 8th house. They are not moving. Saturn is not going to go in 8th house, but 8th lord goes in the 10th house, has a retrogression and will actually go to the 9th house in future, joining Saturn. So definitely what it means is that your attention and your focus should be towards the secrets of your life, the unexplored areas of your life, somewhere where you have not given enough attention. You should learn and you should provide, you should gather information and wisdom related to those areas. This also means that life will go under tremendous amount of transformation, which you may not like in certain cases because of retrograde Saturn. But if you try to weigh the events in your life from the perspective of pros and not from the perspective of pros and cons, but from the perspective of righteousness, you will understand that whatever is happening for your own good. Jupiter's 5th aspect will fall on the 2nd house, which means that you need to change the karma towards your speech, towards how you look, especially your face, and your attitude will change, your facial expression will change and will display far more confidence. Just be careful about overconfidence. Try to eat sattvic and try to speak sattvic. And with Jupiter being attentive towards 2nd house, which means that any kind of long pending problem in your family will get resolved and your values, what you call in Hindi as adarsh, will change. Jupiter's 7th aspect falls on the 4th house. 4th house is Sukha Bhav. 4th house is house of mother. 4th house is vehicles, property, big assets that you have. When Jupiter is retrograde on this and Jupiter's aspect this 4th house, then definitely it is an asset building measure taken by Jupiter. That's why it will be a transformation in your life. Good time to buy a property, good time to buy a car, good time to invest in a safe instrument, Yes, it is, but just check that you should not be under a 6th or 12th Lord Antardasha. Because if you are in 6th and 12th Lord Antardasha, this time will be slightly uncomfortable, but it will act as a clearance of Prarabdha rather than an asset building measure. Whereas Jupiter's 9th aspect falls on 6th house, and that is why it is going to work towards Prarabdha Karma. So your Karma becomes your Prarabdha, which becomes your Dharma. Karma, Prarabdha and Dharma are all interconnected, which means few events in your life will be compulsive. You will have to address issues that you no longer wanted to address. You will have to work with those people with whom you always complained, with whom you never wanted to work. 6th house is something that is duty and responsibility. You will have to take the ownership and you will have to follow the path of righteousness. This is a compulsive transit for you. It is going to make you compulsory better person. It is good, right? It is going to enforce you to be a better human being. For you, it is going to be a life-changing and ascending transit. Zodiac number 3, Gemini zodiac sign. For Gemini, Jupiter will go retrograde on 9th house. So definitely, Jupiter, which is the natural 9th lord, natural karaka of the dharma, goes retrograde Vakri in the 9th house, means the power of the 9th house increases multifold. This is the time when actually the divine powers shower its blessings on you, and you have to collect it with your open heart chakra and with complete compassion and gratitude. Jupiter will aspect your ascendant. Now this is something very unique. This means a sanidhya of a guru, that means association with a guru, a learned person, is going to change your life. You should visit temples, whichever faith you follow, just visit that holy place. Because visiting that holy place is going to create a series of chain reaction. Jupiter's Vakri in the 9th house is going to also help you learn those areas of life that were causing problems, and you will be in a much better position to find a solution for those things. 9th house Jupiter is also a destiny changing transit for you. Your luck will favor you and it will help you cross the negative time very quickly and give you a ray of hope. This is a hope building transit. This is a transit where your destiny is in your hand. But also Jupiter's aspect on the 5th house, which is 9th aspect, definitely tells me that the balance has to come through education. So it will help you educate and learn more about the dharma, the righteousness, the right path for living. How to improve the benefic aspect of Jupiter? You should read the Shastras. You should read the scriptures and you should chant mantras. 5th house is the mantra bhava, the purva punya, the past life good karma. And when Jupiter aspects that, Jupiter starts bringing out the results of the good deeds that you have done. This will help you counter the prarabdha that is actually causing problems. So it's a respite, it's a relief for you. A Gemini, especially the Gemini moon sign, are actually suffering from Ashtam Dhaya because Saturn is retrograde 8th from Jupiter, 8th from moon. So moon is actually facing a lot of problems, but Jupiter is ready to guide you. So don't be disheartened, don't be negative about that for Gemini this entire year was bad. I can understand that for Gemini moon sign, there was a Saturn retrograde in the 8th house causing this lot of problems, especially psychological problems, emotional turbulent rides. But Jupiter's aspect on the moon and especially Jupiter aspect on the ascendant is going to change your personality forever, and your association with a positive force, positive vibration, your presence in a temple, in an area where there's a collective consciousness, praying to God, you will see that your destiny will change. Jupiter will aspect the 3rd house, so it also shows that your efforts will also change, your courage will change, you will be doing things that you were thinking that you won't be able to do. The capacity of the work builds up to give you the necessary Shakti to process the difficult information. And now you will be following your dreams, you will be following what you always wanted to be. the true self. The true identity comes out. It digs deep, it goes in the 8th house, pulls the hidden identity from you. So you are no longer going to be in the closet. You will come out in the open and you will show your true talent. So this pain was not worthless. It was not worthless. The time spent on suffering was not worthless. Jupiter will prove you that the experience that you have gained is going to come handy, and that same experience is going to be a reason of your success. I want you to enjoy this success and learn from your mistakes, because Jupiter's retrogression in the 9th house is going to give you one respite, one relief that, okay, learn from your mistakes. And if you learn and if you apologize and if you accept your mistake and you are ready to change, the destiny is, in your hand. I will say this transit of Jupiter is a destiny building and life altering transit for you. Just become a better human being, because guidance is being given to you. Zodiac number 4, Cancer zodiac sign. Well, you are a zodiac sign which is loved by Jupiter, because Jupiter gets exalted in the sign of Cancer. But this time Jupiter is 8th from your zodiac sign. So definitely your zodiac sign will find Jupiter in a blind spot. Jupiter is going retrograde in the 8th house, whereas Saturn is retrograde in the 7th house. Remember this. There is a direct influence of Saturn on your zodiac sign, where there is an indirect influence of Jupiter, second from your zodiac sign. Now try to understand this combination of forces. On one hand, the circumstance doesn't seem to be favorable. On the other hand, Jupiter is giving you necessary resource to fight the system, to fight the problem, to face the challenge. So definitely if you try to run away, if you try to, be too safe and not face the situation at all, then Jupiter will try to bring or, try to pick up the negativity of the 8th house and throw in your 2nd house. So it's like Jupiter is throwing objects at you and you are trying to catch. 2nd house is the house of collection. You have to ensure that because you are doing positive karma, because you are doing what you are supposed to do, you are following your kartavya, Jupiter does not pick out negative energies from the 8th house and does not give you any surprise. Health-wise, this is somewhat restrictive time. You have to be very, very careful about your health, because both 7th and 8th house are under impact. This is also the time when marriage-related issue can really go bad if there is a mistake that is committed by you. If you deviate from the dharma, marriage is going to suffer the most. From the perspective of business, ideally this is the time frame when public money will come to you. So crowdfunding is going to be very successful in this time frame. People with portfolio management schemes and people who are teachers, people who are managing public assets, people who are dependent on public money are going to get a lot of favors and are going to see real success in their life. People who invest money, people who invest in stocks will also see a proper growth in this time frame. But because a retrograde Jupiter can be a bit fluctuating in the 8th house, it is also going to amplify the uncertainty. So on one hand, the profit will be very high. On the other hand, if loss happens, it will also be of a decent magnitude. So you have to be very, very certain and assertive in your actions. But the thing is that Jupiter will aspect the 12th house with the 5th aspect. So if you commit a mistake, Jupiter will create a learning in your life through your loss. It will create a loss. It will create a loss of investment, and through a particular negative event in your life, you will learn the lessons that you are supposed to learn, what Jupiter wants to teach you. So do not make this Jupiter an angry teacher. What do you have to do? You have to simply bow down to the energies of Jupiter and bow down to Mahavishnu. Chant Vishnu Sahasranam and just pray and respect the divine powers, respect the divine influence, and respect the divine messages that are being relayed to you. Jupiter's 9th aspect will fall on the 4th house. So definitely financially this can be a challenging time. If you are in any kind of legal issue, if you are in any kind of tax evasion, if you're thinking of that, then it can be really challenging for you. The roles will change. The career will change, and this is also the time frame when family either will fully support you or you will be all on your own. So it totally depends on how you handle the situation. But one thing is for sure. Considering everything is positive, Saturn is on one hand trying to drag you and trying to create difficult time for you. On the other hand, Jupiter is trying to ensure that Saturn doesn't cause too much of harm. So it's like a good cop, bad cop thing for you. That means somewhere you might be at fault. Try to find the fault, try to find a loophole, try to find the weak area that you are doing, try to find that karma that you are thinking is good but might be negative for you, or that karma should ideally be avoided, but you are hell-bent on committing that, hell-bent on doing it in the real life. If you can manage that, if you can understand the difference, if you can correct yourself, then through a self-correcting measure, through a constant check at every step, you will be able to, with a lot of precaution, you will be able to protect yourself from any major damage that Jupiter can do in 8th house. Also, Jupiter in 8th house is causing a Vipareet Rajyog. 6th Lord is in 8th house. Remember this. So when 6th Lord is in 8th house, it is causing a Vipareet Rajyog, and which means definitely the Vipareet Paristhiti, or the opposite events, negative events in your life is going to protect you. So it's like hitting your head on the wall and facing a small amount of wound, a small wound that protects you from death. So facing a smaller problem to protect yourself from a bigger problem. That is what the Jupiter transit is all about. It's protecting you, but you won't be able to recognize from where the protection is coming. So all you have to do is focus on the problem and find a solution. Everything will fall into its place automatically. For you, it's going to be a mixed transit, especially if you are a Jupiter moon, and you need to protect yourself from all angles. For this, you can also chant Ganesh Kavacham. Also, Narayana Kavach is going to work wonders in this time frame. But overall, if you see towards the end of Jupiter transit, is it positive or negative? Ultimately, it will work in your favor. Ascendant number 5, Leo zodiac sign, Leo ascendant, and for Leo moon sign people. Jupiter is retrograde on the 7th house. Now 7th house is the house of business, partnership, marriage, anything that is in front of you. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, definitely it shows benefic aspects related to marriage. It shows that you revisit your ties with your business partner, you revisit your contracts, and you revisit your marriage once again. Try to rekindle joy, rekindle a new life, and because Jupiter is Jivakaraka, retrograde Jupiter means rejuvenation, relive a good life, rekindling a lost fire, and it is going to lit a bright future from the 7th house. Good to start a new business, good to revisit your older plans, and maybe something that you always wanted to start as a business, you can start in this time frame. Jupiter will also find Saturn 6th from, in the 6th house, 12th from its own placement. So definitely for Jupiter to work properly, 2nd from Jupiter in your case has to be in a positive angle. But 2nd from Jupiter is actually Pisces. On the other hand, Saturn has a 3rd aspect on the sign of Pisces. So definitely it shows that on one hand your marriage can come into a common truce or a common, you can say, a common goal, in a common agreement. But relationship with in-laws can turn out into a big dispute. Handling public money should be done with proper precaution, with proper legal care, legal attention, and with proper steps followed as per the norms. Because if you don't, then Saturn in the 6th house might create legal hurdles. Saturn in the 6th house is going to bring out the disputes and struggle, and this can be detrimental towards your career. Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on the 11th house. Now definitely 11th house is source of income, so your income will increase. New business partnership will come into picture, new products can be launched. This also means that your friend can become your life partner. This is a good time to initiate marriage, and marriage-related progress will happen in your life if you are unmarried. And if you are married and if your marriage is in trouble, rest assured that a benefic Jupiter will provide necessary relief. Because your personality will change, because Jupiter directly aspects your ascendant, and through your wife, through your husband, through your spouse, you may get the necessary guidance and information. And for this, you have to read the signs, because the information will be distorted, the information will be encrypted. So you will have to decode. So you have to pay attention to every single advice that is given to you, and do not ignore or laugh off anything that you seem which is out of order, or any advice that seems to be not so important or doesn't fit your definition of understanding. Because a retrograde Jupiter is a Jupiter that is deviated. It's like a maths teacher taking a physics class. Doesn't mean that he can't teach physics. Maybe the way he will teach physics is better than the physics tutor. Just an example. I'm not blaming a physics teacher. This is not a comparison, but just for an example, the deviation will catch you in surprise. The deviation will not be easy to understand, but if you are giving proper attention, if you are understanding the subject, if you are going to the core and finding the root cause, then you will understand that this Jupiter is actually trying to help you, and the help is actually bigger than what you need. With Jupiter 9th aspect on the 3rd house, in the house of Libra, in the sign of Libra, it's going to create balance and harmony, and this will create a work-life balance, and this is going to bring joy in your life. Overall, this Jupiter transit is actually brilliant for you. It's going to be a life-changing and life-transforming transit for you. And also, you will transform everything around you. Try to create a small library in your home. Read as many books as you can. Whenever you find yourself in trouble, listen to a discourse of a spiritual leader. Read a book. Read a spiritual text, or a dharmic text, or a text of ancient origin. That will help you understand the nuances and will help you overcome the hurdles of your life. Overall, this is going to be a huge, huge ascension for you. Ascendant number 6, Virgo Ascendant. In case of Virgo Ascendant, Jupiter rules your 2 Kendra Bhava, 4th and the 7th house. Jupiter is retrograde in the 6th house. This is the clearance of Prarabdha Karma. A benefic planet in the 6th house, especially Jupiter, will ensure that your attention is towards the Prarabdha, that means the loans and the duties that you have to follow. And your recognition of that duty, your understanding of that responsibility is going to put your life into action, and with a proper understanding and proper experience in life, you will be in a much better situation to handle problems and difficult times. Saturn is also retrograde in 5th house, Jupiter is retrograde in 6th house. 6th house, Jupiter will slowly move to the 5th house. Therefore, the Purva Punya, the past life good karma, and the Prarabdha Karma, which is the loan that you have, is going to nullify each other. This is actually a good time to gather a lot of Punya. So do as much service as you can, do as much good karma as you can. Consciously or unconsciously, try to do something good. That will not only increase the 5th house Punya, also it will improve the 2nd house, which is collection of Punya, where Jupiter's 9th aspect falls. So if you follow the dharma, family tensions will go down, money will come, source of income will improve, and loans will be paid off. Your blocked work, the blockages in your life, the blockages in your work will also get removed. This will help solve any dispute in marriage, because 7th Lord is in 6th house. This will help any dispute in business. It will be helpful in legal cases where you will be able to find out a solution that is safe for you and people around you. Jupiter's 7th aspect on the 12th house also ensures Dhan. So donate yellow colored items, food items to needy people. Donate money and items to teachers, shikshak, mentors. whatever way you can help them. And Jupiter's fifth aspect on the 10th house shows that you will be made to learn something new, and a role change can happen that will ultimately end up in your promotion, in a designation change, and you will be made to lead a team. You will be made to lead a circumstance or a situation in your life that right now it may seem difficult right now, but in future that will turn the tide for you. That will make the timeline in your favor. That will bring the time in your own favor. Jupiter's retrogression is no small retrogression for Virgo ascendant. Half of your life's major struggle is controlled by Jupiter, and this Jupiter is going to give you one opportunity, because once the prarabdha gets cleared, once the loan gets cleared, that's when the Kendra Bhava starts working in its own power, in its true strength. It will start showing its true colors, and you will see that most of the problems in your life will be resolved because of this simple retrogression. On the other hand, health has to be taken care. Digestive system can take a toss, so eat carefully, eat in moderation. Do a fasting on Thursdays if medically approved for you, and start praying Vishnu Sahasranam. You can also pray to your own Guru Mantra. By doing and chanting Guru Mantra and Vishnu Sahasranam, you will ensure that you are still humble and you are ready for service. When you are ready for service and you are ready to save the planet Earth, if what is your contribution to society, if you are aware of that, then your actions towards the society, action towards doing good, actions towards healing and helping other people is going to ensure that you don't face any problem. It will be like a karmic insurance. Saturn is going to help you for that. It's an experience that you will never forget. And it's going to be a life-changing transit for you. Zodiac number 7, Libra ascendant and Libra moon sign. Jupiter will go retrograde in the 5th house. Therefore, this is going to bring out the learning from the past life. There are few things that you have to revisit, and there are few belief systems that will be shattered, and you have to unlearn and relearn. So unlearn and relearn is the theme of this Jupiter's retrogression. Jupiter in the 5th house is going to bring out the Purva Punya, so definitely you are going to get a lot of past life good deeds. The fruits of your karma will now come handy, and this will be very good. This will act in your favor, and you will be saved from many negative energies around you. 5th house is also the house of education. So your own experience, something that you learned in the past will come handy while dealing with matters at hand right now. Jupiter aspect on ascendant is going to change your personality through your own education, something that you will learn about yourself and something that you will learn about your own people around you, surroundings, that will give you or make you a better person, that will make you a changed man. You will be changing in this time frame. Definitely a retrograde Jupiter in Aquarius means that your association with a learned people, people who know about the subject that you are dealing with, is going to help you a lot. So if you are stuck in any situation, contact people who are expert of that field. Jupiter's 7th aspect falls at the sign of Leo in the 11th house, so definitely the Purva Punya is now going to fructify and you are getting a lot of gains. You are in such a beautiful position right now that you will get extreme amount of gains, but obviously you have to follow the practice of good karma, and you cannot be in a comfort zone. Saturn is retrograde in the 4th house. You have to quit the comfort zone. This means that something you have learned before, some opportunity from the past will come up that was long pending, but this opportunity will not give you an easy life. This opportunity will give you a better life. Jupiter is going to give you one chance to change or alter your destiny. That does not mean that it is going to be easy on you, but it is definitely worth taking a shot. Jupiter rules your 6th house and the 3rd house. All are Upachaya houses. So it is a good time to learn something, brush up your basics, upgrade academically that will help you improve the source of income. You're not getting promoted, you want to switch, you want to start a business, be a student first. Once you are a student, in future you will be able to lead that same field, provided you apply enough amount of efforts and you do not stop just because the path is a bit difficult. Definitely for you, occult science and help from occult science will always be there, because on one hand Jupiter is 5th and Rahu is 8th from your ascendant. Because Rahu is 8th from your ascendant, the secret knowledge will come to your rescue. So which also means that whatever you learn, you should keep it within. Do not disclose all the information that you have, but try to help as many people as you can. Good time to help in children's education, because when you help in children's education, Jupiter will shower its blessing on you. You are getting educated, help someone get educated also. With third house lord getting third from itself, Jupiter's placement in 5th house is Bhavat Bhavam of the third house. Therefore, the way you will express, the way you will talk will come to a reformation. The way you will express your words will also reform, and this is going to make your communication way more efficient. So learn a new language. This is a good time for taking a personality development program. This is a good time to attend a workshop for changing the way of talking, changing or using positive words, how to not use negative words, some linguistic programming technique you can learn. Good time to learn Excel, good time to learn art of communication. Whatever happens, Jupiter's 5th aspect falls on 9th house, so Dharma is going to be your biggest teacher. Go back to the basics of Dharma. Go back to what the rishis and the ancient sages, ancient people taught us. The ancient discoveries and the knowledge is going to be our savior in this time frame. 9th house is also the house of temples. 9th house is also the house of religious places. Therefore, Guru, a Dharma Guru, and the teachings of a Dharma Guru whom you can follow is going to come handy at times of depression and in times of need. When you are stuck in material world, the spiritual world will come to rescue. And after all, Ketu is in 2nd house and Rahu is in 8th house. This is the time to invest in learning. Learn as much as you can, but always remember one thing. Be an empty cup first. Unlearn and then relearn. This is going to be a transformative and a personality development transit for you. Zodiac number 8, Scorpio zodiac sign. For you, Jupiter is retrograde in the 4th house, so definitely some auspicious event at your home will be possible. Expansion of your home, expansion of property, buying a new car, all these things are possibilities with Jupiter retrograde in the 4th house. This also means that you can go back to your mother country, your home country, going to your ancestral place, going back and revisiting your parents' home, or if you are stuck in any place, going back to your own home. There's all possibilities, and these possibilities are benefic in nature for you. Jupiter's 7th aspect will be on 10th house, so definitely in the work from home environment, career will come handy and it will save you from all the chaos that you might face at home in certain cases. I'm not talking about all the cases. So definitely career is one area where you have to pay maximum attention, and growth of your career will definitely happen, but maybe because of the retrogression, on one hand it is going to bring to your own home. On the other hand, if you have been at one location, if you are at one location from a very long time, then your career through switch, through a transfer, can take you to a different location. So also get prepared because of that, for that. Jupiter's 5th aspect will be on the 8th house. So definitely major transformation will happen through the 4th house. And definitely transformation in your family is going to be one key area where you can be positive about, and this is also the time when you can buy property, buy a new car. You can invest money into long-term investments, and that will come handy for you. Jupiter's 9th aspect falls on the 12th house. So definitely it shows that your dharma is now to donate, because Jupiter will be giving you so much. Jupiter will be giving you the security. Jupiter will be giving you the wealth and prosperity. and happiness, this is actually to distribute. Share as much as you can. Sharing is caring is going to be the mantra for you. 12th house is going to be the house of loss if the donation is not willful. So either you donate willfully, either you donate with your full heart and mind, or it may act as a forceful donation, which is called loss. So there can be a financial loss in any kind of business deal. There can be a financial loss for which you have to put your home at maybe mortgage. There can be issues with loan and investments and properties. So this is the time when you actually this is the time to make others happy. This is the time to bring out happiness within you, the cheerful attitude and the positivity within you, and spread positive attitude all around you. The more life you touch, the more positivity you spread, the more positive this transit will be for you. Also for the Scorpio ascendant, Jupiter is a Karaka, because second and the fifth lord sits in the fourth house. It's a big Raj Yoga for you. So definitely rest assured that this is going to be a very positive transit for you, but you have to be very sensible, especially while expressing your desire in front of home, family, people. Third house Saturn is getting retrograde. That means it can be a situation where you have to work for someone else's happiness, and you will not get a chance to speak up, but sometimes sacrifice is worthy. So you will be asked for worthy sacrifices. There will be a demand from the universe. And if you can just be an obedient student to the voices of universe, you are going to get more than what you want in life. Overall, this is going to be a highly optimistic transit for you. Zodiac number 9, Sagittarius zodiac sign. You are ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter goes retrograde in the third house, definitely, which means things about you will change through your own efforts. You will be in a much better position to communicate about yourself, but not everything. You will also keep and hold back a lot of information. Third house is the house of courage, willpower, free will. Third house is the house where Mars becomes stronger because of the willpower that exists in this particular house, and Jupiter is Guru. So your willpower exists in your knowledge. So expand knowledge. This is the zodiac of expansion, and this planet will facilitate magnanimous expansion of wealth and knowledge in your case, and you will be able to spread that information in public. Now definitely ascendant is personality and overall satisfaction in life. Fourth house is happiness, and third house is siblings. Third house is your own arms. Third house is something that you can create. Write a book, help your siblings, increase your courage in life. Whatever areas you find weak, try to address those areas, because problems can come from those angles of life. Jupiter is going to be working towards your own ascendant, your own identity. So it's an identity creation time for you. Jupiter's fifth aspect on the seventh house means you will learn a lot from public and surroundings. So the feedback from the surroundings and the messages that you get will be very, very important. Try to be very receptive to the messages that the universe gives you in the form of numbers, in the form of signs and symbols. Also, Jupiter's fifth aspect on the seventh house will resolve any pending issue in marriage. Jupiter's fifth aspect on the seventh house will come handy in improving business. So some bold decisions towards your business and marriage will be taken with this retrogradation. Jupiter also has ninth aspect on the 11th house, which means you are going to be a mentor among your friends. If you are a younger brother, you will be made an elder brother, or your role will be of an elder brother. Expansion of wealth is definitely on the cards, and your proper action and calibrated action, the dharmic action towards the business and the career, is going to result in expansion of wealth. This is a good time to think about a new source of income, being creative and being expressive. Seventh aspect of Jupiter falls on the ninth house, therefore any religious pilgrimage planned in this time frame, safely obviously, at least if you plan it, it will help Jupiter to understand your intention towards the religion, towards the dharma. And by having this spiritual approach, you can make this Jupiter work wonders for you. Because ultimately, Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, which is the 4th house, which is happiness. The 9th house is also the house of Sun, Leo, and this Leo zodiac sign is going to expand the identity and it is going to expand your stature in the society. So rest assured that this Jupiter will work wonders for you. And just like few other zodiac signs, Jupiter transit is going to be extremely positive for Sagittarius ascendant. Just be assured that you don't commit anything that you can't do. Judge your capacity, and before you say that you can do, increase your capacity. Saturn's retrogression in the 2nd house is also going to act as a wealth generation transit for you. So you should distribute wealth to the needy. You are getting something, give back to the society. In whatever ways you can, help those who need help. It is going to be a life-changing and uplifting transit for you. Zodiac number 10, Capricorn zodiac. Before we come to Jupiter retrograde, Ascendant Lord is retrograde on the Ascendant. Second Lord is also retrograde on the Ascendant. And Second Lord will see Jupiter getting retrograde. Jupiter rules your 12th and the 3rd house. 3rd house is willpower, whereas 12th house shows any kind of movement outside the boundary in which you live. Jupiter retrogression in the 2nd house is going to create a scenario where you are going against your family and you are breaking the boundary. Something that is trapping you, something that is strangling you is now ending. So definitely it's like you are under a rock, under a pressure, and that rock or the pressure is getting removed. So either you will go against your family and that will work in your favor, or Jupiter as a benefic planet will not disrupt anything, but rather it will create an understanding between you and your family. Any kind of losses that you are facing, you will see that the losses will now start recovering. You will also see that the financial condition in your life will also improve, and you will be in a much better position to save money after paying all the dues and all the pending balance that you have to pay. Jupiter's 5th aspect on the 6th house, Jupiter's ownership of the 12th house, and Jupiter aspect on the 8th house takes or brings Jupiter in control of all the 3 houses through the 2nd house. This is the house of food and words. So through 2nd house, you can actually control all the negative aspects of life. And when it is retrograde, that means you will be consuming the positivity out of a negative house. That means negative houses will also work in your favor. The best way to handle this is by continuous chanting of Guru Bij mantra or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. When you will continuously chant the Guru Bij mantra and Mahavishnu mantra, you will see that through repeated chanting, the benefic aspect of Jupiter increases, and the 6th house, 8th house and the 12th house gets protected, and they will not be able to create any harm, cause any harm to you. There can be some travel involved. Your willpower will be initially lost and then you will regain the confidence back. So this is the time when you completely demolish your identity, completely demolish yourself and then rebuild yourself. It is like one phase of life is coming to an end and an absolutely new phase of life begins. This is a new lease of life for you. So for Capricorn Ascendant, I do see that the Saturn retrograde on the 1st house is creating impact, especially if you are a Capricorn moon. But Jupiter being second from the Ascendant or second from the moon ensures that you get enough supplies to fight the negativity, fight all the odds and come out victorious. Rest assured that Jupiter will soon in the month of September will cross the boundary of Aquarius and Capricorn and will reach your ascendant. Jupiter is debilitated in Capricorn, but then by the theory, by technicality, it goes under Neech Bhanga because Saturn is placed there. So definitely, it shows that you have to redefine the structure, redefine the boundaries that you have set for yourself. The guard that you are in has to be changed. And because for that, you have to pray to Mahakali. By praying to Kali, the energies of Saturn and Jupiter can be addressed beautifully. Also praying to Shiva is going to bless you with a power to handle the 6, 8 and 12 houses. Good time to start a new business, good time to get money from the public and invest. Good time for teachers, good time for philanthropists, good time for people who are in media industry, anyone who uses his voice as a source of income. Your personality will change and now your personality will reflect the knowledge that you have. So if you are a worthy candidate, Jupiter will make you a successful person. Overall, this is going to be financially uplifting and a problem-solving transit for you. Zodiac number 11, Aquarius zodiac. Jupiter is getting retrograde on your own zodiac sign. But Saturn is already retrograde, which is the lord of your ascendant, lord of your moon sign in the 12th house. So what does this Jupiter retrograde mean for you? Now this is a complete Samudra Manthan and the output will be true self, true identity. And this is not going to be easy. Because Jupiter rules your 11th and 2nd house, definitely you will get a lot of help and all sorts of help, especially from your spouse, from your family, from your friends, and more from the friends and less from the family if you want to compare. But Jupiter's presence in the 1st house is going to be highly benefic. I'm not saying easy, but highly benefic for you. It is going to impact your overall life. Not one specific area, but overall life. It's a 360-degree transformation for you. This is the best time to learn a new skill. This is the best time to uplift yourself and maybe come out with a better personality. Check your Arudha Lagna in this case and do remedies for the Arudha Lagna. Jupiter aspects your 5th house and it has Gemini, so it will create curiosity. Try to learn something, anything, maybe just a language or a musical instrument, but be curious, feed your curiosity. 7th aspect of Jupiter is already going to work in a positive way with regards to marriage. Any problems in marriage will be resolved. With regards to business, obstacles in business will be resolved. A blocked divorce may convert into a smooth one. If you're suffering in a court case, Jupiter's energy that is radiating towards the 12th house will help you find a solution. Overall, Jupiter transit is going to be very, very uplifting for you. The 9th aspect of Jupiter also falls on the 9th house, which helps you balance the dharma. The dharma and the karma quotient in your life will be balanced and you will be able to find the right way to do right things. The righteousness of the soul will be now reflected on your face. You have this blessing of Jupiter on your head, but it's a retrograde Jupiter. The existing blessing can be taken away if your karma is wrong. Jupiter's natural direction is towards the 12th house, the house of loss. You can lose the power of Jupiter. You can lose huge chunks of money if your karma goes on the negative side. So if you don't know whether you're on the right track or you're on the wrong track, if you don't know the consequence of your action, then you need to discuss with a guru, healer, a learned person, maybe an astrologer. Because on one hand, Jupiter is retrograde on the 1st house, Saturn in the 12th house. Another problem is that Ketu and Rahu is in the 4-10 axis. Therefore, this is shifting the polarity in the work-life balance and the family and the work affairs. So you will be at the crossroads of an event that will be so demanding that you will have to leave one thing, either your career or your comfort or family life. This is the time when you actually give at least one area the maximum weightage. And if you choose the right, if you take the right decision, if you take the right call, the other area will also get balanced. But if it is wrong, both the areas will collapse. So either both will sustain or both will collapse. So it's like hanging on the cliff. Very benefic. It's a highly benefic transit, but one wrong move and it can prove deadly. Not like physical death, but a karmic struggle begins for the entire duration of retrograde Jupiter. Then you have to wait for the month of November for Jupiter to come back on your ascendant to resolve anything that you have taken, the commitment that you have taken now, that will be resolved once Jupiter comes back in Aquarius. So better not to commit anything that you cannot do. It's better to always understand your limitations. Yes, expansion of limitation is a good idea. Both retrograde Jupiter and retrograde Saturn will expand your limits. Your reach will expand, but slowly. So it's okay to expand your identity, but if you are expanding your identity, you need divine blessing and divine intervention. And for this, pray to Lord Shiva. Praying to Lord Shiva is definitely going to work in this time and handle the energies of Jupiter and Shiva, Jupiter and Shani, and make Shiva your guru. Show gratitude, show humbleness, and promise that you will be an obedient student. It is definitely going to be a life-altering and life-changing transit for you, whose impact you will see for your entire lifetime. Zodiac number 12, Pisces zodiac sign. You are an emotional, philosophical, and a zodiac sign of deep thinking. You are also ruled by Jupiter, which is retrograde in the 12th house, therefore altering the state of consciousness. This Jupiter is going to work on the subconscious level. Therefore, when you sleep, just play some mantra on YouTube in a very mild volume, very mild tone, and just listen and you sleep. You can also play some sweet music, because good things when you hear while you sleep is going to alter the state of consciousness, especially subconsciousness, and the subliminal messages is going to work wonders for you. Jupiter in the 12th house, because it is retrograde, is going to convert the losses into profits, and anything that you have lost will now convert into profit, and world will favor you. Universe is now working in your favor. Jupiter rules your 10th house, so definitely a career prospect that was stuck, something that you were not able to manage or something that was not clicking is now going to click. Good time for a good career change. There's the time when people who are not finding jobs will now start finding jobs, but you have to train your subconscious brain into thinking positive. If you are negative, this Jupiter will start relaying negative information. Remember that. So the first thing that you have to do is to take out the negativity from within and throw it out. Be positive. Jupiter on the 12th house is going to aspect the 4th house, so definitely it shows that any auspicious event related to home can happen. If you want to sell your home, that's a possibility. Selling a property, a possibility. Buying a new car, a new home through loan is a possibility. Because Jupiter also aspects the 6th house and cuts down the losses. So if there's a loan that was stuck, can also pass now. This also shows that the eligibility criteria that you fail in various aspects of life, you will start meeting them, which will ultimately improve the life standard, the standard of living. The expenses may be there, but the expenses is of some valid reason. It's not a unnecessary expense. So the expenses that you will do can be justified for the right cause, which is good. Some amount of donation towards the education of children is must for Pisces ascendant. And if you're a Pisces moon sign, this is not a good time to initiate marriage, because for you, Jupiter will be 12th from the moon, and when Jupiter is 12th from the moon, it's not wise to initiate any decision related to marriage. And this is also not the good time to address marital issue in a way that it wants a conclusion. You need to wait for some time. Jupiter's 9th aspect on the 8th house, while Jupiter being in the 12th house also addresses the Trik Bhava. 6, 8 and 12 are now under the command of Jupiter, which is your ascendant lord and your karma lord. So through karma and dharma, and by your sheer willpower, you can take control of the negativity in your life. And for all of you who wants to expand your identity, this is the best time. Do whatever you can do in a positive domain, being in the right mind and taking the right action. Do what should be done to improve your career and also to expand your identity, and your voice can reach millions. Try to influence a lot of people on a positive note and uplift and encourage your juniors. This can create a small tussle if you are an employer and there are a lot of employees working under you. So you have to show a big heart. You have to show compassion. And with Jupiter aspect in the 9th house, 8th house, with the 9th aspect shows the blessings coming from places that you cannot even see. You know, unexpected people giving you unexpected support. This is going to be a life-altering and consciousness-altering transit for you. God is with you. Seek His blessing. So seekers, that was the ascendant-based or moon sign-based analysis for Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Aquarius. Soon I will bring a Jupiter retrograde video for the sign of Capricorn. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel and my other channel, Lifetime Soul, for astrology and many more interesting topics. For consultation, you can drop me an email. All my social media links and other video links are in the description box below. And if you like the video, do like and share the video among family and friends and spread the word of astrology. We'll meet in the next video. Till then, this is your host Punneit. Namaste.